Some blue at one point in my life.
And then I use Suave.
Nice. Suave, suave, suave.
Huh? Those I have three.
That's a move. That's like, I'm not lying though. Like watch.
God,
Are we doing this again? Again?
I'm just waiting for it to get on.
I'm gonna wear leggings.
How are we doing?
Like just for leggings. The Highwood.
Put that up here.
Jersey shirt. Watch me become.
Oh, there goes Dakota.
The running shoes. That was scary. Oh my goodness.
What do you think, Katrina?
White and gray Skechers.
How am I doing?
Kind of scared.
Are you scared?
No.
I have those. And I
Do all your teachers do this on Zoom?
camo.
What about my eyeballs? Does it look okay?
Oh my goodness, it's not.
Does it look okay? Oh, hi, Dakota. Forget about it.
You can literally tell how guilty Jack is.
It won't let you change your name? Really? Why not?
I had the screen and it just goes straight to it.
Yeah, mine does that too.
They don't let you change the name?
Oh, mine lets me say if I want to be on the video, like when the video pops
You
up,
can
if I want to
change
be on
names.
camera, and then I can change my name.
It's not letting you go in your Zoom.
All right. So,
Just change all of their names. Because that can be part.
here's a kid I've never heard from. Jack Parson.
Oh, he's on full.
Is he like, was he doing virtual? Okay.
Zach.
Okay.
You want to become a student?
Hey, if you can, go ahead and open up Google Class, go to Google Classroom and go to classwork and open up the document that says independent dependent.
I want cheese. There's much cheese.
What if I eat it? What would happen if I eat it?
Yeah. What is that? Nice. Can I have one? Yeah, put it right there on my desk. That's still stinks, dude. Jack.
I didn't think it would be. I just think it was so violent. Like sometimes I'll be, I'll be holding an egg and I'm about to crack it. I'll just go. You know what I mean?
I do like the power of destruction.
One time I did that with a glass jar. I was just holding the glass jar just casually and I just go, and then it broke.
Yeah. I sometimes want to do that. I sometimes want to crush an egg or one object in my hand.
It's just a weird feeling of temptation. This takes a.
All right, open up this document. Let's talk. You two, Katrina, go ahead and open up this document. It's in classwork, and it is a scientific method. Look at this. What is this? What's your business?
Ring.
You make rings?
Yeah.
Do you sell them?
Yeah.
Do you have an example? Oh, look at this. There you go. If you need a ring, Katrina or World, there you go. What? Here, let me see it. I want to see it.
Well, I think it wasn't a finger, it was my thumb.
What are they made of?
One in his work, whatever it's called.
Nice. How much are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you just go on here.
Yeah. What about the carbon fiber? Ooh, all right, man. That's crazy. That's cool. Thank you. All right. So here's my plan for today. We're gonna let's review kind of what we did on Friday a little bit, and then we're gonna take this a little step further with the independent, dependent variable stuff. This week we're also going to start to get into some birds. Get birds and birds. And,
Slice and dice.
slice and dice. We will
Let's
slice and
go.
dice.
What's the biggest bird?
Here, I'll show you.
Everyone will cut them like tomatoes. We'll just dice them or dice them. Yeah,
This is the biggest bird I have. Does anybody know what this one is? This is in part. Oh, there's Kayla. So this is an owl. This is an owl called a barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D. Not barn. No, it was unfortunately hit by a car.
I can see by
So,
its face.
yeah, right. Its neck was a little bit twisted. This guy is a real. This one, I guarantee, you could hear it here in North Manchester. It has a very distinct call, and the call goes, "Who cooks for you?" Now, the bird doesn't literally say the word, so it's more like this. Hoo, 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 hoo. So, you know, here's what birders do. They come up with good ways to remember it. Okay, like, how do you remember that? Well, it kind of sounds like, "Who cooks for you?" Okay, so that's how people, and if you look at field guides and stuff like that, that'll say. We don't have one for every single bird because sometimes birds don't say things like that. It's more of just like a trill upwards or, yes.
What's the noise you wait? If you were trying to mock a raven, what would you do?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I could do a raven.
Do it, please. Or crow.
That's kind of a raven kind of call. My favorite is call is a bird that only is here for a very, very short window. I saw it this year on May 15th at the Finn, which was really cool. And it's called a black-throated green warbler. And it has two calls. One says, or two songs, Z, 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 or Z, 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 Z. Or it will also say trees, trees, murmuring trees. It's a really cool bird. It's only like this big. It's neat. Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll come back to birds. We're going to learn some birds this week. We'll do some measurement of some birds. You'll get a bird and it'll be fun. But I do want to cover
I
this.
can bring in a live bird.
Okay, what kind?
Cockatoo.
I'll ask the office if they will let you do.
I mean, he's on sale on Facebook right now.
Oh. Your bird's on sale?
Yeah. He's for free if you want.
Okay. So they used to. I've kind of run the gamut with pets in this room over the course of 27 years. I've had a 6-foot boa constrictor, a 2-foot red-tailed boa. I've had a poison dart frog. I've had a rabbit. I've had a cockatiel. I've had 2 tarantulas. I have had 2 bearded dragons. And what else did I have? I think that's it. And I just kind of gave up on pets. Yeah.
Have you ever had a ball python?
I have never had a ball. Wait, I take that back. I did have a ball python
How big
once.
was it?
It was tiny. It was a baby. It was just a cutie.
I have one like this big.
Nice. You do, right now?
Yeah.
Nice. What's its name?
It's 2
Uh-huh.
because it was because there was one like this big,
Uh-huh.
like a bigger version.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And you named it 2?
Yeah.
I love it. That's a great name. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm going to read this out loud. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the first one together, the second one together, and then we're going to see how you do on the third one here. Okay, so on Friday, okay, come back to me here, folks. So on Friday, we talked about observations, and we know that if we want to do science, one of the first things that we have to do is make an observation. So we didn't go outside, but I filmed outside, and we looked at those parking lot, tree islands, if you will, and we noticed that there were 2 trees that were gone, and those 2 trees that were gone were not hit by cars, angry teenagers, or like, somebody, wielding Texas chainsaw and, chopping them down. Okay, we found out that it was, do you guys remember what killed those trees? The ash borer, right? The emerald ash borer. And so we looked at that. We said, okay, that's the observation. And then we asked some questions like what could have killed it. And then we looked through all the options. And if we were doing some more tests, if I would have passed around the wood, what could have made this wood like this? And then we could figure it out and dug deeper and found that insect. Okay. Now, every experiment, okay, has some parts to it. Okay, and so I've just made up 3 little short stories here. Okay, the first one is this one. You water 3 sunflower plants with salt water. Each plant receives a different concentration of salt solutions. A 4th plant receives pure water. After a 2-week period, the height is measured. I'm going to give you a little phrase, and I hope that this phrase sticks with you. And here it is. Dependent as measurement, independent tested. I'm going to say that quite a bit. Dependent as measurement, independent tested. Okay? Those are the parts of an experiment to figure out, okay, what is the variable that's changing and what's the variable that we're measuring, okay? Now, I didn't, in my little phrase, have the word control, okay? Now, typically when we're thinking of control, you might think of like controls on an airplane, okay? Or maybe you're thinking like, I've got everything in control, like, I've got it all, we're all good, there's no chaos and whatnot, okay? When we talk science, control is a little bit different. Okay, now maybe you know what a control is. Is anybody using this example up here? What do you think the control is in that? Yeah, yeah. Great, great guess. You're right. It does have something to do with the water, but not how much water. Great guess. That's one of the things, but that is not the control, Chelsea. Nice guess. That's one of the variables, but not the control. There you go. Nice guess. That's not the control either. Sam, you got it?
Would it be sunlight?
Nice guess. These are all very, very good. Okay. Anybody else?
Said that how much water you're given?
Okay. It does have something to do with the water, Stephen. Nice guess on the sunflower. You guys are all really good. You got one more guess there. The pure water is the control. Okay. So, and specifically this plant that receives the pure water. So right here under control, everyone put pure water. Okay. You can go ahead and I want you to type that, and you are going to turn this in, by the way. Okay, it's going to be the easiest points ever because we're going to do most of it together. All right. The control is what doesn't change. Okay. In an experiment, we want to compare, right? I'm comparing, like, I'm doing some stuff, right? But I want to compare it with something that's like normal. Okay. Do I want to give plants salt water? What happens when you pour salt water on a plant? It'll die, right? The salt actually, yeah. There are plants that are adapted. There's a great plant in a tree in the Everglades called a mangrove. There's 3 types in the Everglades. There's the white. You've seen them? Yeah. There's a white, there's a black, and there's a red mangrove. And what's really cool about this plant, they have this adaptation where they take the salt. They live in salty water. Okay, they take the salt and they send it to one leaf, and that's called the sacrificial yellow leaf, and that leaf dies. And what's that? Just that? Well, actually, yeah, not just that one leaf, but there's like lots of sacrificial yellow leaves all over the tree. But that's where all the salt goes. So the majority of the tree, imagine, I'll see if I can find a picture a little bit, but like imagine most of the tree's green leaves, beautiful green leaves, but here's a little yellow one, here's a little yellow one, here's a little, and so once that yellow one dies, it falls off, then they send it to another yellow one, and send it to another one. So yeah, I had a student a few years ago when we were in the Everglades, and she ate one. She ate a sacrificial yellow leaf. And I go, why on the earth would you do that? And she's like, oh, I just wanted to see what it tasted like, if it was salty. And I was like, that's horrible. Luckily, she didn't die. She did throw up, though, quite a bit. Sorry.
What?
Right? So, yeah, major bummer. Sam, did you have a question? Yeah.
Like, why don't they just deposit it? Like, instead of it, why don't they just, like, squirt it?
Oh, yeah, man, that would be cool. That'd be cool. You know, trees do pee. Trees, yeah, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but I've been peed on by a tree. Is anybody else? Yeah, maybe that you don't know of? You're like, oh, that's gross. Yeah, so I'm sitting underneath the tree, clear as blue sky, not a cloud in the sky, okay? And trees leaves have these little things called stomata, and these stomata open up and water actually comes out. It's called transpiration. A lot of times the water evaporates, but this
So they're
one,
peeing.
bloop, right on my head.
So they're peeing.
Yeah, either that or it was a bird peed on me. I'm not sure. It could have been one of them. I didn't taste it to see if it was, you know.
You should have.
Should have. I should have.
always taste it.
All right. Yeah, the girls online are like, someone said, let someone bring a dog in. That would be fun. Oh no, my Chromebook's gonna die. Okay, hold on a second. I'm freaking out. All right. Urgent. Will this work? This might work. All right. So everybody, the control is what doesn't change. That's what I'm comparing with. Now, dependent as measurement, independent tested. Okay. What, Claire, do you know what in this story, what are we measuring? The height of the sunflower. So everybody right here, dependent, right? Height of the plant. Height of the plant.
Jade's wondering
Okay.
why we're going backwards.
I don't know. Originally, I don't know. This morning, I just went that way. Just felt like it, right? Okay, last one. Independent variable. Okay, that's what's changing. Okay, so what am I changing in this experiment, Chelsea? Salt water, yeah, concentrations. Okay, so independent variable is the salt water concentrations. Okay, the dependent is we're going to measure the plants. And what doesn't change is normal pure water. The plant, we're going to just normally see what happens. Now, okay, let's see if you guys are as good as first period. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I'm a major props to these guys. Okay, now we used some really big words on Friday to describe these experiments. Word out, brother. Okay, but what if sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. What is the term if I say, like, okay, I'm doing this experiment, but I'm going to say that I think the higher salt concentrations will have shorter plants. That's not my, I have to observe it, but that's what I'm thinking will happen. Okay? The hypothesis. You got it. Now, here's the question that I couldn't believe somebody got first period. If you don't get it, don't feel bad. And you guys can type it in if you want. Type it in. All right, now, here it is. Here's the question. If a bunch of scientists over and over and over and over again say, like, we've proven this, not just you, not just me, but thousands, millions of scientists can tell you that salt water will make plants not grow as tall. We don't call that a hypothesis anymore. What do we call that?
A fact.
Not a fact. I'm looking for a T word, but not.
Thesis.
Nice guess. You scared me there, though.
How
Theory! Zach, you got it. It's a theory. Okay?
That's a smart one.
Good job.
about that?
Okay, so here's the deal. It's a theory. Did you guys get theory, Katrina or Kaylee? No, that's okay. All right, now listen. It's a theory. So here's the deal. A theory is kind of really cool. That's like when finally everybody's kind of agreeing on stuff. They're like, yeah, that's what it is. It's we all believe this. If you take my anatomy class, and I hope you do when you're like a junior, we study something called the sliding filament theory. And it's basically how your muscles move. And we'll yell at the walls and do this thing. But basically, your muscles go like this. And for a long time, we didn't know how your muscles, like, you want to take somebody to a gun show? Okay, how does that happen? Okay, that happens because these filaments called actin and myosin slide against each other and make a muscle. It's awesome. That's the sliding filament theory.
Can we just take the day off and learn about that? 'Cause that's kind
Oh man, it's really cool. Maybe someday. All right, let's do this next one. We'll do this next one together. I think hopefully you're going to get the hang of it. 3 maple trees are kept at different humidity levels inside a greenhouse for 12 weeks. 1 tree is left outside in normal conditions. Height of the tree is measured once a week. Okay, let's go control. What do you? Sloan.
No, I did not.
Not the height. Not the height. Yeah, Chelsea.
Where they placed
Okay, be specific. What's the
The
control?
one that's outside of the.
Yes. Okay. The outside, and there should be one word that's like ding 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 ding. Ding. What's the word in that sentence that makes you think that's got to be the control? What's that? Not measure.
Tree.
Not tree.
Normal.
Normal. Who said normal?
Me.
Good job. Good job, Trace. I
am not
hope not. Okay, y'all with me on that? Normal makes you think that that's not changing. Okay, look for some of those key words. Normal. Hey, I don't really grow maple trees in a greenhouse. That's not the normal thing to do. Okay, so everybody write that down. Outside tree, outside maple. Everybody type that into the control, right? Okay, now, okay, my dependent as measurement. Okay, yeah, Chelsea, what do you? Okay, nice guess. Measuring once a week, but what am I measuring though? Okay, height, Jack, you got it. Okay, so dependent variable will be the height of the tree. Okay, please type that one in. Height of the tree. And that's okay. You get it now? You with me now, Sloan? Okay, cool. All right, our last one, independent variable. Okay, remember, independent tested. What am I testing? What am I changing? Okay, Olivia, do you got it, Olivia? Okay, well, you did this. I didn't know. Okay, wait, hold on a minute. Go through. But you just got the last one. I want to give some love to everybody. It is right. Did you get it, Janessa, too? Humidity. So the change in humidity, that's the independent variable. Okay? So independent humidity, dependent height of the tree, and then control is the maple outside. All right. Outdoor maple. Now I want you to read the next one, okay? And I want you to do this one on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? 1 tank of goldfish is fed the normal amounts of food once a day. A second tank is fed twice a day, and a third tank 4 times a day during a 6-week study. The fish's weight is reported daily. So you type in each one. Don't say it out loud yet. Okay, give everyone a chance to think about this, and then we'll talk. Good job, Katrina. Dependent as measurement, independent tested. While you're doing that, I forgot this. I brought the flies in. You want to see your flies?
Yeah.
These will be the flies. Let me show these. No, they're very much alive. So while you're typing up and once you're done, then I'll bring these around. Here's your flies. So I'll tell you real quick. Let's make some observations. Number one, there's some blue stuff at the bottom. What's that blue stuff? That blue stuff was a powder. It almost looks like, well, I can show you. It looks kind of like, it reminds me of like powdered mashed potatoes. You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had that before?
Oh, yeah.
Idahoans, they're the bomb diggity if you're ever camping. So you take this stuff, and this is a stuff. Yeah, I just brought this in over the weekend because I had to keep these alive all summer long. So I mix this up. I put water in there. It turns like that kind of that solid blue. So then I put males and female flies in it with them. Oh, I put them in empty tubes. So I take it. Here, I'll show you. That's a great question. So I take this tube, I put like this much of the powder in it. Then I put water in it. I let it kind of, it takes about a minute to harden. Then I put another one of these corks on top. Okay, so then the big question is, how do I get the flies out of this tube and I put them in this tube? Okay, it's something that all of you have access to. Okay, hopefully in your home, but somewhere. Okay, and I used to use a chemical called fly nap, and it made the flies go to sleep. And then I had a student go into anaphylactic shock because they were like highly allergic to this chemical, and it always kind of gave me a headache. So yeah, so I googled, this is a long time ago, how to put flies to sleep, and this is a super easy thing to do. You put it in your freezer, and I put it up in the freezer upside down. All the flies go to sleep on top of this little cork. I tilt it like this and then just tap them in. It's pretty awesome. Also, this is a fun trick to play. Oh, about 10 minutes. Oh, W. Here's a fun thing. If you ever get a like a housefly, like try to capture a housefly without killing it. Okay, I know that's hard to do. Net it, I don't know, and then put it in like a container. I don't know, something like this. Okay, and then put it in the freezer. Okay, leave it in there for like 10 minutes tops. Okay, then you pull it out of the freezer. Okay, this is a fun joke to play it on your folks. Okay, then put it like over here, like the dead fly, and then say, I have magical powers, and they'll be like, shut up, and you're like, no, I do. I'll prove it to you. So you pick up the fly that's frozen. Okay, and before you do it though, slap your hands together and like warm up your hands, like, you know, say something like "Mecca like a hi, Mecca honey ho, woo!" I don't know, whatever. Okay, and then scoop the fly in, and then like shake it around, and then you can feel it like coming, like waking up, right? And then you take the fly and you release it, and it flies away, and everyone will think that you have superpowers, right? Oh yeah, do it. Yeah, say Tony, I have powers. You know, shake it up. Okay. All right. So anyways, let me come around real quick, and I will show you the flies. So you will get like either red-eyed flies or white-eyed flies. What you see on the side is maggots. Those little white pieces of rice are the maggots. The brown things are the cocoons. The white ones are the maggots.
I'm with dead animals, just not maggots.
Okay, great question. Jack asked this question. How did the maggots get in there? The maggots got in there because the flies mate within 8 hours of being born. Okay? So, which is insane, right? So, as soon as I put these flies in this tube, they're going to mate and they're going to lay eggs. And then once they lay eggs, okay? You're worrying me with the bullshit. No. So then the egg then turns into the larva, which is the maggot, and then the maggot grows over about the course of a week. And then eventually what happens is that maggot will crawl on the side, it will harden, forming that cocoon, and then in about a week later, then you've got like new flies hatching out. Yeah.
So if you put like a giant container with that and a whole bunch of food,
Yeah.
you make like free fish food for aquariums.
That's great. So I don't know, like, do fish eat like these little
Anything, they'll eat
they'll eat anything?
I used to put bread on.
I don't know, like, how.
I mean, I put worms in my tank.
Yeah.
bread.
I think it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, like take rolls.
Hey, when I make a new one, I'll give you one of the old ones, and then you test it out and you let me know. How's that sound? Okay, so there's the fruit flies. All right, now let's look at the last one. Here we go. 1 tank of goldfish is fed the normal amount of food once a day. Second tank is fed twice a day, and a third tank 4 times a day during a 6-week study. The fish's weight is recorded daily. Okay, let's go again, since we've been doing this the whole time. What's the control, Jack?
The amount of food, normal amount of food.
Yeah, the normal amount of food. So like that once a day, that normal amount of food once a day, that's usually what you feed goldfish, right? That's the control. The key word, once again, is normal, right? Okay, dependent as measurement. Peyton, what did you get for this one? The weight of the fish. You nailed it, right? Exactly. So how much does the fish weigh? That's the dependent variable. And then finally, the independent variable. Presley, what'd you get for that one? Great guess. That's the amount of time that we're doing it. You're very, very close. Janessa, did you think you know? Yep, that works. And the 4 times a day, both of those. So you're changing the amount of food each day. If you got any one of those wrong, just correct it real quick. Okay, so the control, the normal amount of food, okay, once a day. Dependent, the fish's weight. Independent variable is going to be the increased amount of food. The control is the normal amount of food once a day. Yeah, that's what doesn't change. That's no, the independent is going to be feeding it twice and feed it 4 times because that's what I'm changing. Normally, I would say like I usually feed my goldfish. By the way, I got some we're going to grow some lettuce in here, and I'm really excited about it. But we're growing lettuce with fish poop. And here's how. Here's it. Oh, I thought you were going to say foot long something else. No, so what I do have this container. I got to bring it home, and I was going to bring it home bring it to school this weekend. But I kept my fish alive all summer, and yeah, all quarantine or whatever we want to call this time, March 13th, right? Yeah, Zach.
I'll use the livestock crap.
Nice. It's great. Okay, here's what I want to do. Okay, everybody go back to classroom, and I want you to open up this this link that I sent you. Go back to classroom and go back to classroom. Katrina, what are you going to do? I'm so going to do that. Oh, Katrina, what are you going to do? You got to tell me what you're going to do. I missed when you said that. Okay, everybody got this? Go back to classroom and click on this link. Everybody got this link open? Cool. Go back to classroom, click on this link.
Last year, I think I got 23. That was out of breath. 23.
All right.
I don't even know.
Sloan, I'll help you. Day one, no, this is something I really want you to get. Yeah. So independent variables, the fish, you can feed it twice or 4 times a day. That's what we're changing. Normally we feed it once a day. Now we're feeding it more. Okay, hey, I got distracted, so let me go back for a quick second about the fish. And if I said the more food I feed the fish, the more they're going to weigh. Okay, that's my H word. What's the H word? Hypothesis. If all these scientists, over thousands of scientists say that's the way it is, then it becomes a what? Theory. Yes, Jack.
Well, goldfish growth besides the tank.
Yeah, right. So yeah, right, exactly. Yep, you're right. Okay, let's go to this. Now listen, this part is a part of, like, I'm not going to read the other stories, so just stick with me here. I'm more concerned about where we're going to put the independent and dependent variables on an axis. So let me just read this first part. It may seem confusing at first, but then hopefully you'll get it. Okay, it's all based on a science experiment where somebody thought if we put a kid closer to the TV, their eyesight's gonna decrease. They're not gonna. So if you're in front of a TV like this, your eyesight's gonna actually decrease over time. Okay, so here we go. Scientists like to say that the independent variable goes on the x-axis. That's the bottom one, and the dependent goes on the y-axis. That's the left side, the vertical one. This does not mean that the x variable is out partying while the y variable is whining about the x variable never being around. That's codependence, which is completely different. Okay, so when you're talking about variables, independent means that the researcher, you or someone else in a white coat, okay, can pick any value he or she wants for that variable. Using the TV viewing distance data, you can imagine the researcher putting little pieces of tape on the floor, positioning her small experimental subjects at just the right distance, whereas I can think of any way the researcher can directly control how much eyesight the kids have lost. Personally, I'm a little dyslexic. I still mix up right and left, and I find the words dependent and independent a little confusing. So I think cause, that's the X, and Y, the effect. Okay, this is not exactly right, and will make some scientists apoplectic. They'll make them very angry. Okay, but as a sort of memory aid, it may help you too. So The cause is how far the kid sits away from the TV. The effect is how much eyesight she loses in the variable. Okay, so now we're gonna try these together. So I drew this up on the board so you could remember it. Okay, the independent is this guy. Okay, so I'm gonna do this a lot. Independent X. Here's the Y, right? This is the dependent. So this is the cause. This is the effect. Okay, so if we do this first one together, okay, it says, hey, no worries. It says type X for the day should go on that X-axis, right? And then Y-axis would be the dependent. Okay, so if you need to, you can look up there. So number of surviving fish in a tank and the water temperature in the tank. Which one of those is a measurement? I mean, they're both kind of measurements. I get that, but what are we actually recording? Yeah, the number of surviving fish in the tank. Okay, that's what we're measuring, right? Okay, so that would be the Y. Okay, and the water temperature, okay, is what we're changing. Okay, so you put Y and then X and then hit check, and what you should get is a little window that pops up that says great job.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to tell you, this is a horrible story, but I'm going to tell you. So I had a student teacher. Yeah, it's not that horrible, I guess. I had a student teacher a few years ago, and he was a great dude. His name was Mr. Gerke. And he was like, man, he goes, found this great experiment for biology. We should do this. He goes, do you have any hot plates? And I go, I got one. He goes, well, I'm going to get some from the college. So he brought in, man, he worked really hard to make this awesome lab work. So he brought in like 7 or 8 hot plates. And then we had these giant beakers. And then he went to the pet store and he bought a goldfish. Okay, so 1 goldfish for each. Yeah, you see where this is going, Sloan. Okay, so he put the beaker, filled it up with water. He put the goldfish in the beaker and then put the beaker on the hot plate. Okay? Right? So the idea was that fish, when they get hot, they're just like humans when they get hot. When you're running a lot, what happens to your respiration rate? It increases, right? You you never see cross-country runners at the end just to be like, oh, I'm fine on my breathing rate. No, you're huffing and puffing, you're giving it your all and whatnot, right? So fish, you can actually measure how they huff and puff. Here's how they do it. They have these little things on the side called operculum, okay? And operculum, sorry, my hair's in the way. Go like this, right? Okay. What do you think happened to the operculum once they get hot? Yeah. Okay. So he knew, like in the lab, it said don't go above this temperature. Okay. So he's like, okay, we'll go less than that. Okay. Well, that data was wrong, and all the students turned up, in just very small increments, the heat. Okay. And then every single fish started to do it. They started to get hotter. Right? And they started going like this, and they started going like this, and they started going like this, and they went like this, ooh, and then they were like this.
Oh, poor fish.
Oh, he killed every single fish.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and I was like, he's like, what did I do? And I was like, you failed. No, it was pretty amazing. I will never forget that as long as I live. Okay, all right, let's do. Hey, I'll let you talk, but let's just do one more. You do this one, you see if you get it right, okay? You already did it? Okay, if you already did it, great. Choose your X and Y carefully. The grams of food fed per day and the daily growth rate of mice, okay? So again, what am I measuring, okay? And then what am I changing, okay? I think what's hard at first is you're like, well, grams is a measurement, right? Growth rate's a measurement, but remember, think about as an experiment, okay? This is kind of like the goldfish one, right? What am I changing? I'm changing the grams of food per day, okay? That's the cause, right? So if I'm changing that, that's the X, right? And if I'm measuring something, that's the Y, and that's what you should
got it right.
Okay?
What is the craziest story you have?
to think about that. I have to think about that. Let me think about it. All right, that's all I got. Our bell's gonna ring here in a minute or so. So, yep. Hey, if you could, that went super fast. I love 5th period. I was gonna say 6th period, but I love 5th period. You guys, it goes so fast. I'm having fun. Okay, now listen, here's the deal. Don't worry we'll do the rest of these tomorrow, and then we'll go back to that document tomorrow. There's one more little question at the bottom. We'll turn that in. But if you want to look at them, you can. All right. The prank. Oh, the prank. Oh, cool. All right. Any questions from you guys? How's everything? Okay?
Come on, Dave.
All right. I'm going to sign off for now. Peace out, home slices.